Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, joined once more by Tayte for another entry of the Untitled Monthly Movie Show. Of course, we are in July. We're finishing July. We're rounding up this month. There's been a lot of films out. We're going to be talking about a lot of films. And it's that time of the month where we just talk about everything we've seen, new releases, old releases, have a chat. And if people are watching and people are commenting, then we'll answer any questions that you do put in there. But before we go into anything else, Tayte, how are we doing tonight?
Yeah, there's a lot to discuss about this last month. So much has happened since the last Untitled Monthly Movie Show video that we've just got to straight up talk about. Whether it's the films that have been released or, should we say, the lack
films
of
that haven't.
The films that may never see being released. Like, it's been an absolute, dare I say, one of the most chaotic months in film history. From both ends of the spectrum, so it's worth having a chat about all of it right now, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, as we mentioned, we want people to comment along with us. So let us know what you've been watching this month. We imagine everyone's seen at least two. And you know the two. We'll talk about them. They're the thumbnail. Barbenheimer, of course, the biggest movement of movements in film industry history. But we want to hear from everything. So please do, as I mentioned, comment. And if you want to ask us anything or request anything, do also let us know. And if you want to find us on social media, it's where we announce videos, we announce other things, upcoming stuff. You can find us on linktree.com/cinemasavvy. That's got links to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Letterboxd. We are still calling it Twitter. It is still Twitter. X is copyrighted by Microsoft. They've stolen the logo from an old vector image, and it still says on the app, tweet your thoughts. There we go. Debate over. Elon Musk is a moron. And if you want to buy any merch, you can go to the Redbubble store in the description below. But as we do with this stream, we'll be talking about the things we've watched. And how do we want to play it? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
I know I've seen a bit more this month, but my watching's been weird. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot more new films than old films this month. I've only watched 3 films that were not released this month, and 2 of them were rewatches. So realistically, I guess I'll start with those. So my dad had never seen Life Aquatic, so we decided to watch Life Aquatic. He quite enjoyed it. I'm sure that at some point in the future we will be doing a Wes Anderson retrospective, and I'm going to be pushing for that on the channel. I know that I know your opinions on Wes Anderson. You like some of his films, but you're not a massive fan, are you?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be in the way of it going to the channel, would it?
No.
It'd just be this pink background, not black. on.
Well, I was going to say Life Aquatic doesn't really use pinks. It's more kind of blues and yellows, and it's a fun film.
Interesting that film has been brought up. I don't think that'd be brought up today.
No, a bit left field to start off with.
Did you like it?
I mean, I like Wes Anderson films, so for me, it's just another Wes Anderson film. Yeah. And then I saw that 4 Lions was going to be on Netflix, so I decided to watch that, which is once again fantastic comedy. Absolutely, just brilliant writing, brilliant acting, just across the board. A fun film that you can enjoy at any stage. And then I've got an unusual one. So a bit of background at the moment. I'm currently doing a tennis qualification to qualify myself to be a better tennis coach currently. And the person who's running my tennis course used to be an actor. So I searched him up, and he was in a film called Blue Juice. Now, the film Blue Juice stars a number of different people. So Sean Pertwee is the main role. Catherine Zeta-Jones is the lead female. And one of the side characters is a young Ewan McGregor. For a surf film in the 90s, this film is wild. And I would recommend it. I think it's a fun little throwback to that time. It feels like a Richard Curtis film set near the ocean is the best way of putting it.
A British surfing film.
A British surfing film with Ewan McGregor, Sean Pertwee, and Catherine Zeta-Jones before they were famous.
Interesting. Okay.
It made less than 5,000 on its box office, and it's not a straight to DVD. But I swear to God, it's good for what it is. It's a fun film if you know what you're getting into and you're ready to take the piss out of it. So I would recommend it. It's called Blue Juice, and now people should go and look it up because it's worth a look. And really, really fun, weird fact about the film, because they didn't think Sean Pertwee at the time was a big enough draw. After Ewan McGregor became famous, they actually replaced his face, Sean Pertwee's face, with Ewan McGregor's on the poster. Put him up as the lead role when actually he's a side character. He's not even the lead role.
It does happen. I think Den of Geek did an article once, and it's like just basically a load of old films where they basically shushed out leads and put the actors on that got bigger as the years went by, and it's really interesting actually how often it happens.
Sean Pertwee's been in loads of different things. Like he's been in Gotham recently, wasn't he? So that's kind of the one role that at least I go to. But I mean, the fact that
Alfred in that, I remember.
Yeah, Catherine Zeta-Jones as well in a film before Chicago. This was in 1995. This film, I think, was released. So 7 years before she won the Oscar. It's a wild film, just for what the actors who were in the film became. And it's not too bad. It's quite a fun little comedy. So go give Blue Juice a watch. And then I get into kind of the films of the month. So these are all brand new release films that I went into and watched. Some of them which were kind of bigger surprise than others. So I'll start off with Nimona, which was a fantastic start to the month. The film that Disney rejected for various different reasons. I think one of them being a gay lead character, which they weren't too happy with. Dropped the project. Netflix picked it up. Brilliant little film. Highly recommend it. It was fantastic. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend it, especially because it's on Netflix, so people can just go and access it straight away. Then going later on into the month, I watched Elemental, which we got a review of on the channel, and a non-review for Carl's Date, because I forgot to review Carl's Date on the actual thing, which was fun.
It's only a short, though.
It's only a short. It plays the music.
How did you feel about the fact they brought Carl back?
I mean, it was okay for the short. The short didn't really push the boundaries of animation anywhere. I always like the fact that Pixar shorts do tend to push the boundaries of animation. I'm not really the biggest fan of the throwback, callback ones. And this one, they play the music. They mention Ellie, and that's enough to make anyone in the theater cry. So, you know, they did what they needed to do for it. I don't think it was, you know, the best Pixar short ever, but, you know, it did its job. Elemental was good as well. I'll give it a rewatch when it comes onto Disney Plus. It was fine. It may grow on me. It may not. It was.
We'll probably talk box office at the end of this video, no doubt, with the big two.
Yeah.
But Elemental has surprised everyone.
It picked up, didn't it?
I don't want to say how well it's done, but to add on to a very weird month of numbers, yeah, Element is steady. Steady is the key word. Steady wins the race, and I don't think it's in profit, but it's not in collateral loss. It's actually been like, oh, Elemental actually did do okay, given as well, you know, in America it was up against Spider-Verse. But yeah, we'll talk about box office. It's been an insane month for anyone that's records being broken left, right, and center.
So now it's time to talk about the biggest, I guess, films of the month, and that is the Netflix Wham documentary, and They Clone Tyrone.
I heard the Wham documentary was good.
It's decent. I didn't know that much about Wham. I obviously know about Wham and George Michael and stuff like that, but it was an interesting documentary. They have a lot of kind of old footage of them kind of pre-Wham, kind of pre-formation and stuff like that, and you know how their careers kind of separated, and how I just couldn't believe that Wham started and ended within 4 years or something like that. Like they only were there in history. Insane. It was a decent documentary. I quite enjoyed it. And then They Clone Tyrone. Interesting film. Bit weird. Bit like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Like is the best way of describing it. It's like they crossed over Black Mirror and Shaft. It's a blaxploitation film, but it's also got really weird sci-fi elements thrown in. So that was very interesting as a watch later on in the month. And then we've got, I guess, the 3 biggest films of the year. The 3 ones we have to talk about. First of all, we have Dead Reckoning Part 1, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Can't wait to see what they do with the next film. We've talked about that almost deaf on the channel already. Kind of, we've got our reviews out for it, and we both kind of really enjoyed that film. We've then got Barbie, which I think I messaged you when I went into the cinema. Packed, absolutely packed. And what's hilarious is my sister went to go see it last week as well. Once again, packed screening, like no seats available. And it seems like the case for a lot of cinemas. I've seen stories of people queuing on the weekend to go and see it in America, to go and see it across Europe. It's unreal. And I do just want to point out, we did a summer predictions video at the start, and I want to say,
we both. I was remembering them the other day. We've both had some good ones. We both had some bad ones.
Yeah,
both of us have failed, knowing that Mission Impossible will be the highest-grossing film worldwide.
Well, I said that Barbie would be.
No, you said Mission Impossible would be the highest worldwide.
But I said, yeah.
I disagree, but we knew it would make more than Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And then you did also say that Oppenheimer's not going to be. You said Oppenheimer's going to bomb. No pun intended.
I did say Oppenheimer was going to bomb.
And I will say this now before we even mention the film. This is coming from me, who has studied these numbers for a long time heading into Oppenheimer. No, anyone saying they predicted these numbers for Oppenheimer is completely wrong.
Yeah.
Same as Barbie.
Dare I say,
like,
Barbie?
Not you. Not
great.
You saying you predicted it wrong.
No.
They both are.
Barbie's doing great, but dare I say, Oppenheimer is doing better than Barbie was expected to do.
I think on paper, a toy, a film that's about the most popular toy in the history of, I don't know, toy. Is it? I don't know what the most popular toys, but you know what I mean.
Hello Kitty, I think, is the most popular.
Fucking hell! Oh,
yeah.
God. Well, we're getting the Mattel Cinematic Universe now, so at least there'll be one functioning MCU this year.
Hey.
But if someone had said to me the 3-hour black and white film about J. Robert Oppenheimer is going to be outgrossing Mission Impossible, potentially the box office, I'd have laughed in their faces, and I actually have. There's people that have predicted it. I think, should we do a big Barbenheimer chat at the end when we're both announced? Because there's insane records being broken left, right, and center.
That's all my films for the month. Thoroughly enjoyed Barbie. Thoroughly enjoyed Oppenheimer. It's been a fantastic month for film. I've got 4 films here which are making my top 5 of the year already, just from this one month. Dare I say, one of the best months in cinema history for kind of the quality outside of Oscar season. It's been a fantastic summer box office, whether things have flopped or not. I've really, really enjoyed the films that have been put out this month on a variety of different areas, whether it's the animation game, documentaries, whether it's action films, whether it's comedies, whether it's dramas, whether it's sci-fi. You've got everything covered this month, and there is no excuse at all for people to complain about there not being, well, maybe next month you can complain about it, but complain about there not being a film out there for them to go and support the film and go and, go to the cinema and watch these films. I know we have actor strikes on the moment. I know that they deserve, to, be paid and to be given their rights for the films and stuff like that. But at the same time, people who worked in this film who aren't directly attached to the studios do deserve to have their credits shown on film and, go and support these films out there in the cinemas. Go watch Oppenheimer on the biggest screen possible. Go and watch Barbie anywhere if you can get a seat. Go and watch Mission Impossible as well, because it's a fantastic film as well. Go and watch the various different documentaries out there. Go watch Nimona, go watch Elemental if you want to, and go watch Blue Juice, because why not?
No, absolutely. We've got a quick comment by Martin. I'm going to bring up a fantastic month of cinema. It's absolutely that. And I'm going to what they kind of tie in, because even when the streaming services are dropping bangers, that's when you know it's been a good month. I'll go through mine. I'm good. I always do it in date just because I've got Letterboxd up at the side. But there's a lot of themes running through this month.
Interesting.
So July the 4th, that was the Mission Impossible press screening. So I was there, first film watched in July. Then I watched for the first time Red Eye on Thursday the 5th. That's the Rachel McAdams, Cillian Murphy 90-minute thriller / horror. I don't know what genre it's meant to be, but it's got a massive cult following, and it's mainly set on an aeroplane. Brian Cox is in it as well. He seems to crop up everywhere post Succession, whether it's the strikes, whether it's the ice cream vending machines. He just seems to be everywhere. So I watched Red Eye. I thought it was okay. Again, it's always interesting seeing not young Cillian Murphy, but he's an actor. I think a lot of people haven't seen many of his work pre Peaky Blinders that wasn't Nolan. Bar 20 Days Later. Don't that sound unfair? Basically, he's an actor that I think now Oppenheimer's out, a lot more people are going to go and look at his backlog, which is great. So yeah, that, and then on the 6th, I watched for the very first time Moneyball after many years of many people telling me to watch.
I've been preaching for you to see it.
Do you want to know what the worst thing about it is? So Barnsley FC released, without doubt, the worst football kit in history this year. It is covered in stars. It's obviously American owners, and it is just quite frankly abysmal. I found out that the character that Brad Pitt plays in Moneyball is now the partial owner of Barnsley FC. And Moneyball was on Netflix, and I watched it. So I finally just ticked it off because I needed to. And then that night, this is why I laughed earlier, I watched The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
No way.
I did. Didn't like it. Sorry. That's why I was really surprised you brought up. I didn't like it.
Hold on. What day did you watch Life Aquatic?
The 6th. I did it after Moneyball.
Wait. Let me have a look.
See, this is why you need to use the diary on Letterboxd.
I did eat. Wait a sec.
I always like watching a film on a Thursday night. I don't know why Thursday nights are my favorite day to watch films, but certainly at home, set up. You check that.
You are not going to believe this.
Same day. There we go. See, I've reached this point where I've actually almost in every Wes Anderson film. But so I had to wipe that out of my system. So Saturday the 8th, I did a double bill of double bills. I was almost home alone. I've got my lovely, my setup from last year. But you know what? It's finally time to play The Dark Knight and Inception on my sound system. And I did them back to back. It was very hot. It was stupendous. And they are still 2 of my 3 favorite films ever made. And back to back was just unbearable. And the worst thing was untimingly. My birthday was the day after. And when I pressed play on Inception, it was about 9:40ish, 9:50. And I was like, shit. You know when you see these New Year posts, it's like if you start Star Wars at 9, blah 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 blah. I was like, shit, is time going to start at midnight? It started at 3 minutes past 12. I was close. But that was very eerie. I didn't mean to watch Inception. I literally watched on it. I was like, it's still really early. I don't want to watch Rises. That's a bit too long for tonight. So yeah, and then on the 10th release date, watched Mission Impossible at the IMAX. Then
so very quickly, did you have the Kick then as your?
No, so at midnight it was the bit on when Tom Hardy's playing. He's on the beach and Cillian Murphy's "I'm going to dissolve the empire." It's literally like 2 minutes off time starting. Now the next double bill was themed. There's a trailer for a new film that's coming out in December. On the 13th, I watched for the first time Paddington 2. Obviously, people have regarded it as one of the greatest films ever made. I used to laugh at that, and I still laugh at that, but I really do think it's a pretty wonderful film in its own right.
It's charming,
and it's just a really nice. It's a really nice film.
It's charming. But
unfortunately,
it's wholesome, but it's not.
Unfortunately, the problem with Paddington is that Paddington has now been brainwashed into a symbol of the British monarchy, and I'm not going to get into the politics, but fuck everyone that left marmalade sandwiches at the park last year, which was just pathetic. And I'm dreading Paddington 3 because you just know it's going to be filled now with monarchy stuff. But anyway, that aside, that's a different argument. I then followed up Paddington 2 with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory because I've not seen it in about 15 years.
The original or?
The original. Got it on 4K last year on offer. Looked phenomenal. The Oompa Loompas look terrifying. The orange has never been so clear. But But yeah, so that was a strange experience. I still prefer the Tim Burton one. People are going to hate me for
No,
that.
no, no,
I've always
no,
preferred the
no,
Tim Burton
absolutely
one,
not. No,
and that's
no.
fair. And that's fair. But then on
Oh,
the
you can't
14th,
prefer the Tim Burton one.
I do though. On the 14th though, I watched Tenet. Needed to. Very loud. I think I did a tweet like, "How long before I get called by a family member telling me like shut up?" And it happened within 5 minutes. And then on the same
Very
day, I
quickly,
then watched.
very quickly on Tenet, because I've
Yeah, my
seen
thoughts
it.
have changed.
I was going to say I've seen it twice, and the first time I saw it, I enjoyed it. The second time I saw it, I enjoyed it less.
Okay. I mean, the first. Do you mean the first time you understood it, or just the first time as a whole? Because we were all frazzled that day, and that was the worst review we ever did because no one understood it.
Yeah, yeah, but I was okay with it. I was like, yeah, no, I kind of get it. I'm like,
My relationship with Tenet is more of an evolution with Nolan films. That 3 years ago I was a very different person, or emotionally speaking, wise compared to now. So if I were re-rank, so I think when Tenet came out I'm just loading up my Letterboxd. It should tell me how many times I logged it total. I've watched Tenet 7 times.
Jesus Christ.
5 of them was at the cinema in IMAX.
Please, anyone comment in the comment down in the comments.
I've still got my notes from when I went mental at 3 in the. I went mental at like 1 in the morning, wrote like 12 pages of notes on the second viewing because it just was so interesting. And I still find it one of the most interesting steps to a concept ever put to screen. And I don't think any other filmmaker in the world is making that film or being allowed to make that film or releasing that film at the height of a pandemic.
Sorry, this reminds me, I did also watch Memento this month. And
see, I didn't watch Memento. I tried to.
The first scene immediately. It's on Netflix at the moment.
I've got it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my dad to watch it.
The first scene of in reverse immediately reminds me of Tenet. I'm assuming that's where we got that idea. Yeah.
But Tenet, I still very much enjoy it. I still think it's a pretty. I mean, again, it's my favorite director. Just emotionally, my ranking has changed, if that makes sense, because it is an emotionless film. That's a very fair comment, and it is. I think I'm calling out not Christopher Nolan's Bond film, but it's a Bond film in a Christopher Nolan film, not the other way around. But the same day, my parents are watching the Mission Impossibles, even though my dad already seen Dead Reckoning. Mission Impossible 3 was on, so I watched all of that with them. Just was in passing in the lounge when it went on. They took the Blu-ray. I was like, okay, I'll watch a couple of minutes. So you end up watching the whole film. Then the 16th, I watched The Prestige. Again, still one of the best Nolan films. Unbelievable film. So, building up to the Nolan release, of course, you can't build up to Oppenheimer without building up to Barbie. So on the 18th, I watched a film for the second time ever. A film I didn't think I liked on the first viewing, but I was very cold on it. Only God Forgives. Don't know if you'd seen it.
Okay, I haven't seen Only God Forgives. It's by the same guy who...
same director as Drive, starring Ryan Gosling. All over, it's his next film post-Drive, They were building this up. And I remember hating it when I watched it years ago. And I was just like, I was just like, what is this? Like, not like, oh, I dislike it in the sense of I'm not invested in the story.
I genuinely thought you were going to say building up to Barbie, I'm going to watch Frances Ha or something like that. Or Lady Bird.
I've seen Frances Ha. But Only God Forgives, second viewing, no, not a fan at all. The reason I watched Only God Forgives is because I thought I owned Drive on Blu-ray when I don't. That was an instant 4K purchase that came the next day. So on the 19th, I watched Drive. Still, incredible. Still always will be. Then the 20th, I thought, okay, let's round out Greta Gerwig. I've not seen Lady Bird. I watched Lady Bird. I liked Lady Bird.
Film. Great film.
I didn't rewatch Little Women. That's, again, 20th. It's really pushing it there.
Yeah, I fell asleep during Little Women, and I've watched...
I'd give it a go again for Florence Pugh. And
I
do like
remember.
The cast.
Was there like a BBC Little Women that came out years before?
There's been many Little Women. There's a BBC one. Christian Bale did one in the 90s, which I'd want to watch for Christian Bale's sake.
I've seen different versions of Little Women, and this version, for some strange reason, put me to sleep.
It's fair. I feel that as well. And then we get to the 21st. We have an Oppenheimer review. I'm not going to talk for 2 hours on it.
Yeah.
8:10 a.m. BFI IMAX. The vlog didn't happen. because I almost missed my screening
Ooh.
because for some reason there was a train every 30 minutes at Barnet, a tube every 30. I got to the BFI IMAX at 7 minutes past 8 and the screening was at 10 minutes past 8. They've been in contact to say that there'll be no adverts because the 70mm IMAX reel is so big they can't put adverts on. And there was adverts. So I missed out on a photo op in the black suit. I've done that at home instead. So yeah, BFI IMAX on the 21st. Watch the review if you want more details about why that didn't pan out as planned. I was meant to watch Barbie that evening with a friend who's been ill. I have not seen Barbie yet at the time this video going up. Please don't pitchfork me. I'm seeing it this Friday. Tickets are booked. So I'm seeing it this Friday, finally. I then watched Oppenheimer again the 22nd, IMAX, my local IMAX, not on 70mm film. So it's interesting to see the different IMAX versions. Then the day after that, Sunday 23rd, watched it at normal cinema because that's my palate cleanser of me telling people don't fucking watch Oppenheimer in IMAX. I have the evidence and I can back it up. And then, bit of a testing weekend, that one. How do you follow up a triple bill of Oppenheimer? Streaming for free on the Criterion channel is The Day After Trinity, which was a documentary released really interesting in 1980 on basically not just Oppenheimer, but sort of Oppenheimer, then the atomic bomb. But what makes it interesting is documentary. A lot of the scientists are still alive that worked on the Manhattan Project. So it's really interesting getting their contextual thoughts in the 80s. And so I do recommend that hour and a half, easy background viewing, mainly made up of interviews. So I needed a detox for a few days. 27th, finally got around to watching They Claim Tyrone. When that film was first announced, I was really intrigued. I really like John Boyega. I like Tony Powers. I obviously love Jamie Foxx. I'm glad he's doing a lot better as well. I was really surprised to see that it came out on the 21st of July. I thought a massive own goal by Netflix. I guess everyone knew that day.
I mean, I saw it because I just flicked through Netflix every now and then, and I just saw it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's released." I hadn't seen any advertising for it.
Exactly. Obviously, the cast can't promote it. They did the premiere early, of course. Jamie Foxx hasn't been well, which is understandable. But I watched on the 27th. It's been out 6 days. It was like 9th on Netflix's top 10 chart, and I just think for an original concept, we're missing this. An original film. Really interesting, as you said, sort of black exploitation, a bit like a Shaft. It's got the sci-fi elements. It's got good performances and a really intriguing concept. I forgot the director's name. I know he'd wrote it as well, and he's been writing in the past. I think he's worked on one of the Creed films. I want to see more.
Joel Taylor.
And again, and John Boyega's credit, I thought he was fun. It was a very funny film as well.
It is a very funny film.
I do recommend it. I know there's not a group on the channel, but this is why we get to do the show. We can talk about things we've missed at the time. And then on Friday, I watched the film. I'm going to bet you £10 you've never heard of this. It came out in 1998. It's called Sliding Doors.
I know Sliding Doors.
Do you?
I know Sliding Doors. That's got Gwyneth Paltrow in it, right?
Okay, you do. Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a good friend. Obviously, you know me. I'll watch a lot of things my friends are into. So that's her favorite film, and I was like, okay, we'll watch it. And yeah, I've really liked it. And I came up the worst experience. Do you know why?
Go on.
Because I was like, you know what? If they I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I was like, if they remade this now, I would love to see a film like this done again. And obviously on the back of a Nolan hype, right?
I could see that.
A split narrative structure. I've just spent a month watching Nolan films, so it was right. It was the right time. I'm not saying Nolan
Christopher Nolan to direct a Sliding Doors remake.
No, I just think because I like his narrative structures, I think that's why I was like really intrigued by Sliding Doors, and it was so insanely contextually 1990s. But the one thing I couldn't get over about the film, this is 3 years after Seven came out, and Gwyneth Paltrow looks about 10 years younger. She looks so young in this film. I was like, how was this 3 years after? And that's what I was like. I just thought, like, how was this 3 years after Seven? But yeah, I really enjoyed Sliding Doors. I just didn't know anyone knew it existed. I went on my Letterboxd. I mean, 2 people had never seen it. I just thought it was one of the films that just no one had heard of. But yeah, I like Sliding Doors. And then on the Saturday, I watched a film from this year, a classic film to watch whilst ironing, Flaming Hot on Disney Plus. The definition of straight to streaming. It's the origin about the hot flavor of Cheetos in
Oh my
America.
god.
It's an interesting story. Has been, when someone will come out claiming a story, and then there are journalists that investigate said story, and they say it doesn't really match up. It's been a sort of ongoing debate for 20, 30 years, but I thought it was very enjoyable. I think Eva Longoria's directorial debut. I enjoyed the cast. I thought it was quite nice. Again, it's a film that won't exist without streaming service. Then followed that up Saturday evening. I went down to the lounge, and Mission Impossible Fallout had just started because my mum was watching them, and she got up to that. And obviously, it's like, yeah, I'll watch a scene. I ended up watching the entirety of Fallout, of course, again. So that was the 29th, which was Saturday. God, I thought it was Thursday then. It's Monday. Because yesterday, I round out the month with a ticking off the list, Atomic Blonde, finally, after many years of it sat on the shelf behind me. Wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
Well, here's the thing.
I feel like it's had
to revisit it because I gave it
revisit's a better word.
Yeah,
I think it was marketed as the female John Wick, which it absolutely isn't, and has no intention of being the female John Wick. An unbelievable soundtrack. I'm going to add, and I've had it on all day. But that's my month. But yeah, Atomic Blonde I thought it was fine. It was just very different to what people had spoken about it, I guess is a politer term, right?
Yeah. So, for me, Atomic Blonde, I don't know if it fits into the into my Crimson Peak, which is I watched Crimson Peak for the first time, disliked it. I rewatched Crimson Peak for the second time and loved it. And I don't know.
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, it's like, how did I dislike this film the first time round, and how can I like it now? And with Atomic Blonde, I said it was very middle of the road. I said, look, it's not John Wick. It's not what it's trying to be. But then, since then, I've used it as an example of original IP and original kind of ideas for film.
Yeah.
Especially
I like the backdrop setting of late 80s Berlin Wall coming down.
Yeah.
I just got a bit not lost within the spy stuff. I'm going to check out Spy House video to plug theirs. But it was. I felt like there was something missing. Like it was trying to be smarter than what it is. It felt like one of those films.
I mean, they nailed the casting.
Yeah,
but then
incredible because I knew Jason McAvoy was in it. I knew that obviously Charlize Theron. Didn't know Sophia Boutella was in it. Didn't know Toby Jones was going to crop up and a few others. You got a very young Bill Skarsgård in there as well. And it's got a great cast.
It's got a really good cast, but at the same time,
they could all do with better. I think it's because they spoke about crossovers of John Wick, like legitimately spoke about crossovers. I think I just had it in my mindset as this is going to be a very different film to what it was. So I think if I watched it again in a year or two, I'd be curious. Knowing now what it's about, that might enhance it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's July done for me. A lot of films there. I know what we want to talk about. We talked Barbenheimer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know I've only seen one out of the two. Barbie's on, I believe, $774 million worldwide in just over 10 days of release.
Yeah,
it's going to hit $1 billion this week. I think Friday. You think before?
Certainly either Thursday or Friday it'll hit.
The question now becomes: can it outgross Mario to be the highest grossing film this year? Which is a humongous question.
How much is Mario?
I believe it's on like 1.38 billion.
Yeah, 1.3 off the top of my head. I think it will.
Still about 600 mil to get, which again, and kind of what's been amazing with it is I know that they've sort of marketed one of a Barbie and Oppenheimer that I know people. I'll take one of my sisters, for example. She had no intention of watching Barbie. She was saying it'd be rubbish. It's a joke. It's a kid's film. She went to Oppenheimer on the Sunday. However, she's seen the Barbenheimer hype. She's seen everyone talking about it. All her friends are watching it. Sure, the cinema sold out. She went and watched Barbie 2 days after. Love Barbie. She's going again with her mom and another sister on Sunday. And it's really interesting in the same way. There are people I know who wanted to watch Barbie who've discovered Oppenheimer through Barbie because they didn't know about Oppenheimer and they're curious for it. And I think it's just a really healthy place for the industry. And this is a blue moon thing. This isn't a let's keep doing these ridiculous.
This is the thing. The industry is going to try that, and the industry is going to.
They're going to learn the wrong message.
They have already learned the wrong message. So, was it Universal put out a tweet yesterday or today because later on this year, Paw Patrol movie comes out the same day as Saw.
Is this the Saw X? Also, the same day is the better film than both, The Creator.
So they've gone with hashtag Saw Patrol, and they're trying to make it viral.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. There's a big disparity between a G-rated Paw Patrol film and a 18-rated, X-rated, Saw movie. Whereas these two, it's 12A and it's a 15. There's a big enough demographic that you can jump between the two of them. But Hollywood gets the wrong message off these things all the time. And
I don't mean this rhetorically or to jump in, but I don't mean successful as the audience. We know Barbie's had one of the best marketing campaigns in probably cinema history, and that'll be spoken about for years to come. The two, and I've not seen Barbie. The two reasons those films have done as well as they have. Let's not talk money. Let's talk reviews. Let's talk audiences. Let's talk people turning up, hype. There are two filmmakers who have been allowed to make their film. Greta Gerwig's Barbie is not a Barbie film that is for 4-year-olds. I know they're going to go watch it because it's Barbie. And I'll be blunt, the 4-year-olds aren't going to understand the logistics and what the meaning of that film is. I know I've not seen it, and I'm sort of flirting around it, but I know a lot of the context of what the film involves and what it's going to be about. If that is something that Greta Gerwig, no other toy film is going to get that. They won't get it now because now the studio is going to be so far ahead of planning. Okay, we need the super. Is it the 8-Ball from Toy Story that's getting a film?
The 8-Ball is getting a thriller/horror film.
I am excited for Daniel Kaluuya's Barney, though. I'm not going to lie. But again, the Mattel Cinematic Universe needs to die. And what I hope, and I love that Greta Gerwig said this. She kind of mentioned Nolan in the blueprint, right? That she's done this studio film. This is before it came out. She wants to be making big budget blockbusters. She said that's what her goal is to do. And the one thing I laughed at was all these weirdos on Twitter who were like, "Oh, she's giving up on the indie film." I was like, "No, like how many female directors get I'm not saying an unlimited budget, but when the Dark Knight came out, right? And Nolan's like, "Yeah, I'll do Batman 3, but let me make Inception." I'm not saying Greta Gerwig is going to make Inception tomorrow, but she's going to go to Warner Bros. and say, "You want me to do Barbie 2? Let me make this film then in between." Or let me do this or this and this. And it's really interesting that it is, again, you've seen it, not me.
Yeah.
By all means, from watching Lady Bird, again, I've seen Little Women in the past. I don't know, obviously that's a famous novel as well. It's very much her influence. And I don't think you get that cast without Greta Gerwig's involvement.
No.
And I think that's the key. And in the same with Oppenheimer, and to both of these, actually, Martin's comment about the budget. Mario and Barbie box office is a mind-blowing. Was Barbie budget 100 mil? Barbie's 145 mil budget. Obviously, marketing is unknown.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if marketing. I was normally you double it to include marketing. I think it could even be 3 times as much. Doesn't matter. It's making easy profit for these guys. And the thing I'm kind of going with that is, and I don't mean to make it too easy going for Indiana Jones and the Flash again, but 2 catastrophic box office bombs, $300 million budgets. Okay, Indiana Jones, like Mission Impossible, had COVID. Budget goes higher and higher and higher just through delays and whatnot, more so than quality. But when the budget for Oppenheimer is 100 mil and it looks better than anything that's come out this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't talk for Barbie, of course, but I've seen Barbie's production design for $150 million budget film. It's probably going to look like a $150 million film.
It plays into it in some elements, but not in the way that the Flash tried to play into, hey, look, we have shitty CGI, because it's meant to be. He's going so fast that you can't really make out the images properly. No. When it's in Barbie Land,
I've seen clips of Barbie with the treadmills.
Yeah, it's a dollhouse. It's, static background aesthetics. It looks very practical set, but who knows whether it is or not. But it's a very easy to digest film, shall we say, and it's an easy to not make film, but there is no big CGI sequences or anything like that. It seems very, grounded.
Exactly, and there's a lot of sets were built, costume department, everything. The production design on Barbie has been immense, and there is some behind the scenes videos that people can watch if they're curious. And just looking at those two films together, the worry I have is not studios putting films. Obviously, the people don't want to hear it, but the politics with Barbie. I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about the release dates. Warner Brothers were pissed off that Nolan walked out from them, went to Universal, put his new film on there. So they released Barbie on the same day. Hey, I think that's helped Oppenheimer. So thank you, Warner Brothers, for your genius. And it's just one of them where, again, we're not going to have it. I mean, heading into that day, so if anyone's, you've been to the BFI Max before, I know you watched that night there. They do an intro for every single showing. A staff member always comes out, usual, get off your phone, please don't do this, please don't do this. There were a lot of people in pink at that showing, 8-10 in the morning. People were dressed up in pink. People were in black suits like me. People were in Barbenheimer t-shirts. It was more than a phenomenon. The kind of way I see it, right, is that Barbenheimer was something 6 months ago existed to the film community, not the public, the film community. And somehow, over, I would say the last month, whatever's happened has blown it up in an improportionate way, almost like a nuclear bomb within itself, of both of these. For I think Comcast, who are the UK distribution theatrical company, this was the admissions, not just box office admissions, the highest amount the UK has had since October 2012. And if you want the comparison of what that film was, that film in October 2012 was Skyfall, and is the highest grossing film in UK box office history, I think, still, that or Force Awakens.
Is this going to blow that out the water?
Well, this is it. And combined these two films, all these records, this was in American box office now. This was the fourth biggest financial weekend in the history of the American box office. Now, you look at the top 10. It was always the weekend Endgame came out. 95% of that box office is Endgame. The second one was like Jurassic World. 95% of the weekend is Jurassic World. Do you see where we're going with this? Then it's Barbie, Oppenheimer. And it's a split. Yeah, the pink's larger, but it's a good chunk each. And the one record I know it had is it's the first ever time two films have grossed over $80 million on the opening weekend in America. Now, for context, before that, I'm trying to phrase this so that sound like a football stat. The only other time two films have come out and both have made a lot of money, the second film made $50 million opening, not 80. So together, these two have become a force of nature. And I think because ultimately, and this is a really boring answer, but probably the correct one, they're both clearly good films.
Yeah.
Because people are going back to see them again. People are talking about them. People are hyping them. The I am Knuff hoodie, is sold out on pre-orders. They've had to do a second wave.
I'll be perfectly honest. I watched the film, and the first thing I did getting out of the cinema.
You want the hoodie?
I want the hoodie.
Did you pre-order it? I'm going to order it.
No, I'm tempted to. But yeah.
Everyone's going to wear it, and this is it. And the drive jackets are going to be replaced by the I am Knuff hoodies.
Have you seen people wearing some people wearing the pink drive jacket?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is it. And like the phenomenon it's caused. I mean, I've got my not suit. I've got my not costume. What do you call it? Outfit prepared for Friday. I'll be going all out in pink, not pink, white, and then normal shoes. And it's just one of those where it's become this movement that I don't think anyone ever saw coming. That is so important for our industry, and at a point where the industry is arguably at its worst in terms of how the studios are behaving. Have a look at a couple of CEO interviews, anonymous quotes. I ask everyone to look at the Colin Farrell video from last night where he speaks amazing in it for about 3 minutes straight about all the issues. And he puts it into everyday terms for people. So really check out the Colin Farrell. So he's generally one of the most intellectual actors I've ever seen talk about film. As we said, they're going to learn all the wrong messages from both these. I don't want I know that Teller's the father of the hydrogen bomb, right? We don't need any more. Suddenly there's going to be I can picture it now. Netflix announced a new documentary series into the Manhattan Project featuring archive interviews. You can see what's going to happen. And I'll tell you one thing that makes me really want to do, and I haven't bought it this month, I'll buy it next month. I really want to rewatch First Man because I feel like I was probably too harsh on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty
from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
It was I just thought that Neil Armstrong was a very boring person, but I'm curious to give that another go. But yeah, it's for the industry. What an incredible month. Unfortunately, even Mission Impossible. If people are curious about its numbers, it's on $450 million worldwide, which many are considering a disappointment. And the history books will probably. It's not going to bomb. I don't think it will. I think it will get to 550, 600 mil to hit profit. I think it'll be fine. But that was the film the industry was saying could it hit a bill? We think this will be the biggest one of summer. And obviously Barbie's going to claim that. If Oppenheimer outgrosses Mission Impossible, that is insane. But that also then shows that people care about the cinematic experience. You mentioned Barbie screenings selling out, which is true. Oppenheimer screenings are selling out everywhere. The IMAX is because people know you've got to go see it at the IMAX.
That's the thing. People want to go see it on IMAX.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like Mission Impossible's lost out. They've announced yesterday Oppenheimer's going to get another week on IMAX. So that's going to have had a 4-week run on IMAX, exclusive. And even better than that, they have now announced that the Captain Marvel 2, is not going to have any IMAX screens because they decided to release it a week after Dune. And I'm going to give full credit to IMAX here. There are some murmurs that there was a bit of aggro with IMAX and Disney. The Indiana Jones performed so bad on its opening week, they wanted Mission Impossible to get the IMAX screens one weekend earlier, but couldn't because of Indiana Jones, which is why we got it on Monday the 10th, not Friday the 7th. And clearly, I think what's happened post Oppenheimer, they've gone to Disney and said, we're not going to take Dune, like Oppenheimer, shot fully on IMAX. Not fully, but of course, shot on IMAX, actual IMAX cameras, not just cropped to say it was on IMAX. Marvel's get lost. You're gone now. Because Marvel's originally had a 2-week IMAX run over Oppenheimer, which is mental when you think about that now. And I think really...
I was going to say that may all change come the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the likelihood is Dune's going to move. I think that's the murmurs.
I think a lot of films are going to move.
Sony has delayed Gran Turismo for 2 weeks, saying because the actors can't be there, but they did the junket a month ago, which doesn't make any logistical sense. Sony's then now removed Kraven the Hunter from the schedule. They've took out Spider-Verse. Sony's laid everything. They're the first studio to blink. Now the question is who follows them. And kind of, not boringly segueing, but we're not going to talk about the strikes as such, but I guess what we're going to say is because right now everything is going to move into an unknown. It's sort of like COVID comparisons. We don't know what film is going to get delayed and when. Some might go online, some might not.
I think
some will be held.
The going to do good during the strike are going to be indie films.
Low
budget indie films. There's a new horror film out by the Raka brothers.
I really want to watch them. I've not seen it yet. Meant to be amazing.
Reviews. The first reviews came out today. It's been given very good reviews.
It's already out. It's meant to be really good. A lot of people have watched it, liked it. I've spent years watching Raka on YouTube, and I heard they were making a film. I was buzzing. I saw the trailer, and I was like, okay, I'm not good at horror films, but I'll watch it because it's Raka. And now they're attached to Street Fighter, which is the most perfect.
Oh, that is perfect
ever
for them.
Do next.
That's perfect.
Exactly. And what's amazing is seeing the film community suddenly fall in love with them. And I'm like, if you watch YouTube, these guys have been around for years.
Well, I guess
they've been waiting for their chance.
Dare I say, there's been YouTubers who have been out there making kind of film content for a while now. Bo Burnham has kind of done his part, and 8th Grade is a fantastic film in that sense. So, you know, like, it's good that YouTubers can kind of take their platform and kind of expand their, you know, their abilities.
And I love the fact that, I don't mean this in a snobby term, it doesn't say directed by Raka. It says directed by, I can never pronounce the name, the Philippi brothers. Apologies on pronunciations there. And it's like that sort of wrestling thing, right? When you see Dave Bautista won't allow himself to be called Batista. It is Dave Bautista. Like the full name, the Baut, not Batista. Whereas obviously it's still Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And I just think it's really interesting when people are making this jump from sector to sector, the names are always a really interesting thing for me. I know it's really minor. But I'm very, very excited to see that. I need to see that. I need to see Elemental. I need to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which has got amazing reviews. That's coming out today. Co-directed by one of the Mitchells and the Machine directors, I believe. But yeah, as you said, we're in a pretty good place with cinema. And August is unfortunately going to be a dry month. We've got The Meg 2, which is about sharks. I won't be watching.
I need to watch The Meg 1.
First Meg,
I need to,
Then what else is there? There's Gran Turismo. Due to, I mean, ironically, of Gran Turismo, I have a ticket to go watch it in London tomorrow, but I cannot make it due to trains. So, and you don't normally get tickets, which is annoying. So the one time I actually get sent something in the post, we can't go. But there will be a Gran Turismo review out at some point. That's been delayed. They delayed it 2 weeks. Why? Why, Sony? No one's going to watch it anyway. Sorry, that sounds really terrible.
Maybe they're hoping that the Barbenheimer hype will die down at that point, and then they could maybe sneak in a little bit more box office.
That's what's scary.
I think this is going back to the old school blockbuster summers. I feel. I think, dare I say,
everything does well
with the actor strikes going on, with the writers strikes going on. I get the feeling that they might be tempted to extend their box office runs if possible.
What Oppenheimer's locked in on the old Nolan 90-day theatrical exclusivity. No idea about Barbie. They've already started talking about Barbie pre-orders.
I just get the feeling that they would probably extend it just to, not only keep the box office ticking over, but also they know it's going to dominate.
Yeah, common sense would say so. And that's it. And that's it. It is an unknown, and kind of with us, I guess not where we stand, but where we are trying to plan videos. Obviously, we've got a Danny Villeneuve retrospective, which will just be really blunt. It has a question mark by its name. It's meant to start at the last week of August. The last thing we want to do is start a 10-week series, and then it's delayed. Not just the 10-week series, but the film to a year's time, where it was not all for nothing. But the logic is that it was that sat on this schedule for a good year or two since part one came out, basically. So we'll be at the drawing board for video ideas, for things, for videos, for other stuff. And like I said, we just can't put a question mark on what's happening within the industry. We are fully on the side of the SAG, the WGA. Just a bit of comments. I know that some channels have like SAG members that run them, so they can't do videos, which is really tricky. So like we're obviously based in the UK anyway, and me and you, we're both familiar with Equity UK casting side of things and SAG productions in the UK. So it's one of them where we're a bit clued up, and people can read up on it. But it's a really interesting one. I've just got a quick comment, man. I've got a choice of 3 IMAX cinemas. Every one of them is booked out for the weekend. The only Oppenheimer because I could get was iSense. iSense is fine, by the way. Yeah, iSense is within the showcases, but with us. And that's it. Everyone's been waiting for the IMAXs. The BFI IMAX London, where I watched it, every showing was sold out in July. And they're showing it on loop 24 hours a day. And it is like the mecca for Nolan films. You've got 3 IMAXs. You've got the New York one. You've got the LA one. You've got BFI IMAX. They are the 3 best ones to watch a 70mm IMAX film in, a Christopher Nolan speciality. And if anyone gets the chance, try and go there. Obviously, I'm not saying take a day out to do it. Maybe you want to. But if you just happen to be in London and you want to kill 4 hours at cinema, go try watch Oppenheimer in the BFI. Because I'm telling you all, and it's not just me hyping cinemas now, 70mm film projection is generally the best looking thing I've ever seen at a cinema. And it was more interesting seeing it for the first time, then laser at the second viewing, then normal, because I've had all 3 in 3 days rather than stand out like Tenet. So yeah, sorry, I'm waffling. I'm talking about Oppenheimer again. But I don't really have much else to say.
I've said everything I could about this month. It was a big month, and I feel like next month is going to be probably us talking less about maybe
box office
new releases. Again? Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. Like, for this month, we've got, TV shows coming back. I mean, the Loki trailer dropped today. That's going to be a few months' time. Yeah. But we've got Ahsoka coming out. I've started watching Peep Show, so I'll probably talk about that next month. There's a bunch of things.
I want to start watching The Bear, which I've heard incredible things about, which is on Disney Plus.
I think I'm 2 or 3 episodes in. I'm 2 or 3 episodes in.
It's meant to be amazing.
Yeah, I need to get back to it, actually. So.
Dave, good. No, near IMAX for about 145 Yeah, that would be people were flying into the BFI IMAX London.
Dare I say,
on the Facebook.
My IMAX, my local IMAX closed down last month,
shit, isn't it?
So
it's just and like I said, we want.
But yeah,
and just the last thing I say on the studios is if anyone hadn't seen it, the studios were trying. There's like a union in America for theater owners. I don't know if it's a union or a group, but. The studios basically went to these theater managers trying to get them on their side, and they're like, release the fucking film so we can make money. Like the studios, and this is it. If people are genuinely serious, please read up into everything. I'm not going to keep telling you, just please read up into it. But it's at a point now where it is like the studios are so far out of touch in an industry that has always been out of touch with the real world. But when they're out of touch with their own industry, that's when you know things are going wrong, which is where it's going wrong. Martin, The Bear is incredible. I'll start watching it probably tomorrow then. I think 18 episodes. They're about 20 minutes each.
They're pretty short episodes, to be fair. Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add. What I will say is there will be a video this weekend. I need to do some more home media stuff. It's not a review. I might have lost the plot on Payday. which is a sign of the type of video that might come. So home media stuff's going to start up soon again, and I'm going to try and tailor it into a series to be a bit more regular than just reviews as and when. Just because I've not been buying a lot of new releases, I like to wait till they're on great offers for like a tenner rather than pay £25. So yeah, there's a lot of films. I'm looking at them. That's why there's a lot of films to talk about. I'll show you after. But yeah, do we have anything else to add? I've got nothing else to add.
No, I mean, we're going to try and possibly, like you said, we're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to sift back through the catalogue of different things we've done on the channel, see whether we want to reintroduce any of them back in or anything like that. We're looking for your suggestions as well, so please put them down in the comments below and tell us what you want to see from the channel, whether you want kind of more open discussion like this. I mean, we got one going every month, but if we wanted to do more topic-based ones, we could do that. If you wanted to bring back any of the old game shows, Battle of the Brackets or anything like that, then let us know. We'll try and organize maybe one. We could maybe do a Nolan-based one. We can maybe even do a Battle of the Brackets based off, I don't know, video, board games, and toys. What's the best film of that sort or anything like that? Well, there's loads of different ideas. We've done. I know that was a terrible idea. I don't know. Barbie was pretty good. Not gonna lie. But yeah, there's loads of different things that we can go through. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of things. So give us any suggestions at home for anything from our old videos or any new ideas you want us to maybe give a try at or anything like that. So let us know in the comments. We appreciate your feedback and we appreciate your support on everything.
Absolutely. And if you want to find out about other videos when we announce stuff, obviously these are set in stream, but we don't know the dates till nearer. We put them on social media. We do announce them in advance. So follow us on social media. You can get us on Facebook, Twitter, not LinkedIn, Letterboxd and Instagram, linktree.com/cinemasavvy. That's why I almost linked to the Linktree. It's just basically a website where it's got everything grouped up together. It's a lot easier to follow us on there. And it's a great little tool that I think a lot more people are using now. Quick comment from Martin. Any quick cinema highlights for August? When is June now? Eesh. June is meant to be out on November the 3rd. Any highlights for August? I will be watching a few July films.
Girls Trip is coming out, isn't it? That's meant to be quite good.
It's already is it already out? Joyride.
Joyride, that's the one. Joyride's out
Friday in the UK. We're already out in America on home media.
Was it?
Strays. The dog
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is getting a re-release. For
Disney's Disney. I'm seeing Tron Legacy, the BFI IMAX on Sunday the 20th of August, and I'm going to freak out and pass out because it's the best cinema in the country. It's the first ever film I saw at IMAX. I'll be talking about this in next month's episode, I guess. That's just what made me realise. I'll talk about it because I'm going to be through the moon to see that there. But yeah, there'll be videos, there'll be reviews, there'll be discussions. We'll have it mapped out. We'll put it on social media. But I guess we'll round out that. So once again, thank you everyone who's been watching, who's been commenting, who's been letting us know what they've been watching. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.